Hello and welcome back to Factorio. My name is Nasty, and in today's exciting episode, we're going to be talking about transitioning from Factorio 2.0, which is what this current save file is running on, and going to 2.1. 2.1 is an experimental release right now. It is not fully finished, but it brings a whole bunch of new changes with it. There's a few specific breaking changes specifically that will enter a way that control logic is kind of screwed up. So there's a couple problems with it, and I'll explain how you deal with them. They're mostly minor, but depends on how much you've used certain mechanics in Factorio. So I'm going to cover those. What we're going to do, the format of the video, I'm going to use my Megabase as an example, going to 2.1. I haven't fully decided if I'm fully migrating to 2.1 yet or staying on 2.0, but for the purposes of the demonstration, I'm going to show you how to best go about it so that you don't lose a whole bunch of ships in the process. Yeah, because that's a thing. So if you go and migrate right now, the first thing I'm going to tell you to do is all your ships that are currently traveling to the solar system edge, let's get them all back to Novice. So however you do that, for me, I stop researching research prod. Everything automatically happens. All the ships will go and dock over Novice. I don't have to think about it. So we're going to switch over to worker robot speed, and we're going to start researching that. So I'm going to wait now until all those ships are back over Novice, and we have all of the, basically all the ships back. By the way, this breaks a very, very long streak for me of running research productivity for the past, well, over 1,000 hours. Yeah, so we've been, I would consider this base to be extremely stable at this point. I think if you need any more proof than that, well, I don't know how else to give it to you. So this is very stable, 8 belt, full base. Anyway, so I'm going to let this all clean up, have all the ships come back to Novice, and then we're going to finish up and we'll come back after that. So we'll keep working on worker robot speed in the meantime. With the power of editing magic, we're back. It's been a few hours. We've been running just research or just worker robot speed. And, well, actually, how long has it been? I stepped away quite a while ago. It's been, about 7 hours. Anyway, so we let it run for a while. But it's not truly 7 hours because we're running at well over 200 UPS. So it's probably more like 3-4 hours. I don't know. I had to go work. Anyway, the point of what I'm going to be saying is we're now in a good spot where every single one of our ships are back safe over Novice, just hanging out, chilling, doing nothing crazy. So they're all back. We brought them all back for a very specific reason, which I will demonstrate real quick with a quick segue to what happens if you don't do what I just said. All right, so we're going to load the exact same save file, but we're now in 2.1, and we're going to see what happens. So keep in mind, we're running research productivity for this test, and we're just going to go and observe things. At first, we look at it, migrated content, what happened? Oh, we changed some recipes. Okay, no big deal. Cool. Now let's go and look. All right, everything looks good. We're running at about 100 UPS, and oh no. What's starting to take damage? Well, it is all of our Prometheum ships. It's a lot of ships that are taking damage right now. And actually, almost anything that is further out... Oh my... Okay, we got to stop this. Too many sounds. All right, we pause this. So, what's going on? Lots of damage getting taken. Right now, there are definitely some bugs with the turrets not actually targeting things. So usually you'll see stuff here where, all right, we are targeting the individual, like some of the different items are getting actual targets, and all the actual, these gun turrets here in the front actually have a target all the time. But there's also cases, and this is just from my testing that I've seen it, where you don't have that. Where you're going to have a situation where clearly something should be targeting some of the frontline items, so especially like the small and medium chunked asteroids here, and we should be going and doing and hitting the small Prometheum asteroids. And by the way, if you remove the filters or not, it doesn't matter. You're not going to actually shoot things down, and the things are shipped. Asteroids actually do a whole bunch more damage in 2.1 because now when they happen to just make a collision with the front of your ship, they actually start punching holes into it. So it's a twofold effect. One, the asteroids are more dangerous, but the second thing is that, yeah, your ship cannot really immediately be able to handle this amount of asteroids right now due to some bugs. We'll fix, like, you know, Factorio is going to fix it, like the developers of Woob, but the point is, like, right now that is not exactly 100% stable. So if you don't want this to happen, or worst case, this situation where you're about to lose almost the entirety of the ship, then park your ships over Novice. So, friendly word of advice. When I actually went and tested this myself before this, I lost all but 2 ships when I first transitioned because I didn't know this. So I'm going to try to prevent you from making the same mistake as I did. Okay, we're back in safe 2.0 land. So, all the ships are back at Novice. Everything is nice and happy. They can't go get destroyed the moment they go out into the field. The next thing that's breaking: anything to do with quality modules inside of the crushers. Those are all, the moment you go to 2.1, they're all going to get removed instantly and get deleted. They won't exist. So, how do you handle this transition? Probably the easiest thing that you can do is you can get an upgrade planner. You can go and select all of your individual crushers, and then you can select them again. And then from here, we're going to go and say no module slots. So we're just going to go and check that. Now, if I hover over all of these, it'll go remove all of them, and then all those quality modules are nice and safe in the Space Platform Hub. So in general, you can do that across the whole board if you just want to make sure that you have that. So you can go ahead and set all those up. That's all nice and done. Now, the next thing that you're probably going to want to do is, because you're going to have to go and tear this down eventually. So when you go and want to actually tear this down, you may want to go and save some of your materials that have built up in here. I don't care, so I would go ahead and delete this at this point. But the point being that, oh man, this graphic from is so beautiful, this new update. Sorry, I'm just seeing this now for the first time. This Vulcanus graphic that Omega came out with is absolutely stunning, and I can't wait to go and see this in 2.1 when it's it's available, because I'm excited to see all these clouds and stuff moving. Anyway, I know he's working fast and furious on that. So here, right now, where, like, so that's the only thing you really got to do. So we're gonna do the same thing over on the Fring. We're gonna go and make that same change, but we're really gonna have to just tear this down because this whole entire spaceship is not gonna work anymore. That gives me to a second point, because this came up in a previous video. So I had alluded to the fact that what you can do for quality crushing now is you can go and not use the carbonic asteroid or like the reprocessing recipe. You're going to be able to use the crushing recipe. Well, guess what? A couple hours after I created my video that talked about the oxide asteroid crushing recipe and the fact that you actually have an 80% chance when you have 300% productivity, when you get this out, because you'd have 4 rolls of this, so you'd actually still have an 80% chance to get this asteroid chunk back. They patched that 4 hours later, and you can thank me for it, because if I didn't say anything, all right, somebody else probably would have brought it up to the devs' attention, but the devs saw my video, and then they nerfed that too. Thank you, developers. Anyway, so we're going to do the same thing over here. Let's get out of the editor, because we're doing this in a normal playthrough. So let's go back, come over here, and we're going to go and remove all of those crushers. And the actual quality models from them. They all get removed, and very slowly but surely we're going to have a completely pointless ship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this just sit over Novice, and we're going to sit there, make as much of our rare science as we possibly can, and we're just going to go and wait until all of this science is fully consumed running worker robot speed. And then once the science is all completely gone, we will then go and transition over to... yeah, well, we're going to have to build a new ship. So I'm going to use one of them from the previous competition that makes normal quality science. But I'm not going to bother with going and setting everything up for 2.1 completely yet here in this video. But I'm just saying is you're going to need a new ship, because space science and quality is completely officially dead, at least in the previous way that we used to do this. So get ready for that. So I'm going to go ahead and let this ship completely drain all the buffers up here. And we'll wait until science starts yelling at me. So we just completely ran out of science on Novice, or at least in the hub that we were monitoring, and we're going to start seeing worker robot speed start to slowly drop down. Now we're going to still have to drain the buffers, but there you see Novice is telling me, hey, you're running out of rare space science. And that hasn't quite happened yet because we still have a decent sized buffer because we would request as many items as we could into these requester chests. But that is very, very slowly going to drain. Now, in order to use all of the science and completely consume it all the way up, I'm going to go and override my clock over here that controls the actual labs and everything to just be always on, basically. So I'm just going to send all the signals so that they just consume all of that science and it stops trying to detect what science are currently running, which will be a fix in 2.1, which I won't have to do, which will be really nice because we're going to be able to monitor the actual what is currently being researched. But for now, I'm going to have to toggle this on and off because I'm going to stop seeing that space science is getting consumed. So whenever I see this go away, I'm going to have to toggle that switch on and off until all the science is fully consumed and drained from all the labs. I'm realizing actually that you might call it a bug or you might call it a feature, but unless a new science is introduced, we don't completely wipe away the space science packs. So it kind of locks in place, which now, like 8 months ago I designed this. Kind of makes sense because unless a new science comes in, there'll never be enough of a gap between one science and another for the transition to happen. So it actually just will, as a feature, just drain all of the science eventually and completely. So hopefully at the very end we should have no more of that space science. That terrible quality space science. Yuck, as the developers would say. Now, as a pro tip, if you clock your inserters, or just because you're using stack inserters at all, one of the problems that you're going to encounter is the fact that they're going to get stuck holding that precious quality science. Oh, forbidden fruit. So the easiest thing you can do is get a deletion planner out, grab all of your legendary stack inserters that you have, and just remove them all except for maybe the last science lab here. So we'll just wait until this little amount here gets drained. There we go. We consumed all of that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to turn off all the requests for this disgusting rare stuff. So let's go delete that. And we're going to, we can keep the inserters still here. That's fine. We'll delete those, delete them, make it come back. Delete that, make it come back, do the same thing. And then we'll just delete all of these. One way you can know that you've removed all the requester chests for that specific science is by creating a filtered space science pack request or like logistics chest. That's actually what I have for all the different sciences in case I ever drop some and they get an excess somewhere else in the system. So because I have that here, I'm always going to know where the space science packs are. But what we're going to do is we're going to put them in the shredder, of course. So now we're going to go and add a new group, which is going to be that space science. So you're going to grab that, make that rare, and say, give me them all. And then they will come in here and they will get absolutely obliterated by the shredder. Now, there aren't very many left, but we're going to make sure of that because we're going to remove every single inserter in this entire configuration here. So let's go and remove all of them, all 4,000 inserters there. Let's go and watch the Logibots go and do their magic. Fantastic. And we're going to go and do the same thing down here and remove all of these beautiful inserters and then watch the Logibots do their magic again. So they're going to go and do that. Also make sure that you have the proper amount of Roboport coverage before you try such a crazy task. Then we simply just do undo and press undo again, and the robots go and do their amazing tasks of bringing all the inserters back. So through that process, that's probably the easiest way to wipe out all that terrible quality science from existence. So all of them are gone. We should be completely free and we should be researching nothing. Fantastic. We have completed removal of space science. This is done. So now this whole entire ship at this point we can say is gone. So I'll keep my quality modules. Thank you very much. The rest of this thing, it can go and die. Goodbye, Mr. Fring. It was nice knowing you. Anyway, so space science is done. We're going to need a new ship and we'll have to go and make that in 2.1. So for now, since we don't have that ship, we're just going to go with the basic old mining productivity, which we're just going to go in and queue a million of these because we're going to need to before we go to 2.1. There we go. Now we're going to be able to go and research something. We can go and research mining productivity, which is great. And we'll be able to go back over to 2.1 in a second. So because this is such a fast research speed, let's just go ahead and make the game go as fast as we can. 300 UPS. Let's go up to 8. So that's perfectly fine. Cool. Now we got our speed going. We're running real fast. All right. Those are the major changes you're going to want to make beforehand before you do anything else. And I guess we could also delete this nice quality gambling machine. We'll make it go over Novice or over Vulcanus. We're going to just go and drop all of this coal back onto the planet. The moment that we get back to Vulcanus, we'll just chill there, and then we'll delete this ship finally as well. All right, so we fully have drained the beast. So what we're going to say is let's just go and delete all the materials here, because it's going to be still quite a bit until I actually have all of the legendary capabilities. So, so I have to make a couple changes just to change the supply line for 2.1 because, yeah, you're just not going to have the ability to use space casinos anymore. So we're going to need an alternate strategy. Not a big deal. We'll just go and grind some and upcycle things raw on Vulcanus. So just to make a slight difference for now. Mainly, we're just going to need iron, so not a big deal. We'll quality upcycle some stuff. But that says goodbye to this beautiful ship, and we will go and delete it as well. I'm going to wait until this platform is completely gone as well. And then we are going to go and do the migration to 2.1, and I'll tell you the exact things that you're going to change the moment that you get there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and save this, and I'm going to say this is going to be the main save for 2.1, and we will go and save that. Cool. And I will go and open up in 2.1. See you over there. So when you go and you enable this, one of the things that you're going to want to have enabled and that you want to make sure that you have enabled is in your mods. You want to make sure that your recycler mod is enabled, especially if you sync the mods with the save, because it's now its own separate standalone mod. And then check if any of your favorite mods happen to be available for 2.1. If you use any of the ones that I have published, those are already available for 2.1. So Clock Generator Sidecar and also the particle-free disposal. So if you blow stuff up with a railgun, right? So those two are available, and then you're gonna have to check on the rest yourself. So your mileage may vary. So we're gonna go ahead and load this up. We're with the amount of actual mods that we do have available. Most of my mods that I use are quality of life in terms of just that they're almost all particle mods. Like that's mainly what they are. And then the rest of the stuff so I can use my clock generator tool and things like that. Okay, very different experience. We come now over here to mining productivity running, and we have switched everything over. We still have our beautiful thing that's going to be yelling at us the whole time because we don't have space science, but that's okay. We'll design something new. So what are you going to have to change? The first thing you're going to want to change are here, any magic self-subtracting stuff. So what's changing now is the way that the circuits will be combined. If in order to be able to read the contents and set the contents at the same time, because there was no separation of circuit connections like we have in 2.1, they would, the exact details of how it works doesn't really matter. The point was that you could read and set it, and there was some magic self-subtraction stuff that would go on that wasn't very intuitive to people. So in order to change this, all you got to do, if you follow the conventions that I do, which is where you read and receive inputs from a thing on the green wire and red is setting it, then you can swap these two channels out. You can say your input is going to be always red and your output is always going to be green. And now you can see that filter went away. I'm going to have to do that on every single one of these places where I have those magic self-subtractions. And we're going to go over here, do the same thing over there, and do that over there. Then we're going to apply that to every single one of the Prometheum ships. Before we do that though, any ships that are currently in flight, you're going to want to make sure you do that. So here, same kind of thing. Green is read, red is write. So we swap these two out, and then we just apply shift right click, shift left click on all of those. Cool, so this ship's going to be in a good spot. So this ship is potentially going to need, because I said they have a hard time sometimes targeting things, you're going to need a little bit more firepower up here. So we're going to go ahead and give it a little bit more firepower. Let's give it another epic one of these, and then let's delete that, and let's just grab another one of these rares, and we'll place that there and place that there. And I think Vulcanus should be able to have those things that it needs. Yeah, it does. It's got 591 rare rocket turrets. Okay, great. So that will resupply. There we go, and then it'll be a good spot. Just doing this for now so that we have adequate turret coverage and we don't have to worry about it. So just make sure to beef up your defenses until the fixes come out. So we've done this. Let's go over to the other ships and we'll do the same thing. So you're just going to have to, again, just look at what is being done, separate, make sure what is going to be the output and the input. So here's red, here's green, and we do that. I'm going to go do that to all the ships and I won't bore you with it, but we'll be back then afterwards. All right, so all the ships are completed. The next thing you're going to want is something that auto queues your mining productivity, because this is going to very quickly run out in terms of what it needs to go and do. So let's go and grab, very simply here, a constant combinator, and let's hook this up. Yay, we can do this for the first time. We can go and connect some things on here so we can set the research. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And what we're going to say is if, in this case, we'll just say, oh, I don't know, mining productivity is greater than 0, then what we're going to set is, oh, right, you probably want to go and research the landing pad cost. So we probably should have done that while we still had some space science. That probably would have been the right call to do that. We don't have any space science whatsoever. And pro tip for those who need to go and research it, keep literally 1,000 amount of space science packs and you'll be able to research it. In this base, this would happen in probably about 2 ticks. Or 1 tick that this space science pack would get researched. So, go do that if you want to go and build that out. We won't be able to do that today. So, what we're going to do is we're going to set mining productivity. Great. And then we're going to go and say here, we're going to go and select M as the thing that we're going to have. And now you're going to notice that the moment that we go and say set the research, M is greater than 0, it should now allow us to just have mining productivity as the thing that is set. There's also some nice little quality of life things. You can see which science packs are currently being consumed for that specific science. And what you're going to notice here too is if we go and remove all of those, it is still doing mining productivity because that is automatically being set by the lab. So the lab now is the thing that's controlling it. We're going to have this as a temporary stopgap, but that is our current control for setting what we want for research. So that's pretty cool. So now we know that. So that kind of covers us. We can run mining productivity for a while we go and fix the rest of the base. Now, one other place that you're going to have to look at stuff. If you do any kind of recipe switching tech with the magic self-subtraction, you're going to have to do the same thing where you have to figure out what is going to send the signals. That's going to be on the red wire, and then the green wire is what is currently reading the stuff and bringing those things over. So what we're going to do is we will say input, which sets the recipe on the red wire, and then the output is the green signal. We're going to have to apply that to all of our weird utility science builds over here, because if you happen to be consuming utility science at the time that you swap over, these will just completely flicker all over the place. So one more of those things. So you're going to have to go around your whole base, and hopefully you know where everything in your base is. And then you'll be able to go and find all those. That's really the main thing that you're going to have to be concerned about, and then you should be in a good spot. But as you can see, all the clocks and stuff that we've done for previous competitions so far, for the most part, have all kind of worked out, and they still work in 2.1. So the nice thing is that all of these like older designs, at least for red, green, blue, and purple, all still work just perfectly fine in the Space Age update that has come out. Also, tree updates. Look at those beautiful new graphics of the broccoli trees that happen to be out here. What a beautiful thing to go and look at. Anyway, so those are the main things that you're going to have to be kind of concerned about when you do it, like that are completely breaking changes. The rest of the stuff is really small and you probably won't run into them. So those are the main things that you're going to want to change. Hopefully that helps in terms of a guide. In future episodes, we're going to need a new way to go and get space science. So we are definitely going to need a new hub because we can use some really cool tech, specifically this landing pad unloading bay here. So you know what? Actually, I might be able to go and just research that real quick here. I think the Ray Jav still up here. Oh yeah, this is another place where I have to do that. All right, that sets the recipe. Okay, this is producing white science, I think, on here. Yeah, it is. Let's go make, I don't know. We're going to need 200 of those bad boys, just real quick. We'll go and make that. And then let's go and drop that onto Novice, and then we'll create a very simple, just quick research thing. Oh, man, where am I going to get all this science from? I should have done this before. All right, we'll let this thing come back. It can dump all of its space science down onto Novice. Great. And then Novice should now have a little bit of space science. Great. We'll go and tell the bots to bring these in. We're going to right-click here, and we're going to try to request 200. So you can right-click to place one at a time, or 200, and then the bots will just fill it. Let's just see how fast we can research this with literally just one lab at our current productivity rate. So we'll go and, so here's the mechanic. This is now not allowing us to do it. So we're going to go and turn this off to set research. I think it keeps in the settings. Yes, it does. So we're going to switch this over. We're going to go and start researching this. Let's bring this over here. And, oh, okay, one lab was quite enough. Okay, so let's go and set our research back to mining productivity. Cool. All right, so let's go and remove all the space science from in here. And then what we'll do is we'll stop requesting that space science. And then, of course, we'll come back to our trash compactor down here. And we will say, yeah, we want to also get rid of all normal quality space science until there is none left in the system, which happened pretty quick. All right, no more space science down here on Novice. And we'll just let this kind of sort itself out. We should have no more space science. Great. So that's it for the initial migration guide for 2.0 to 2.1. Next episode, I need to figure something out about space science. So I'm going to go and create something so that we can migrate things over. And I will kind of talk about a kind of weird alternative for quality space science. I'm not going to UPS test anything because it's really hard to do benchmarking right now due to a multi-threading bug that exists in Factorio. So I'm going to leave it at that. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to go and I will design something to produce probably rare science so that I don't have to change my hub quite yet as a temporary stopgap. I'm not saying it's good for UPS, but we will do it. Anyway, so we're going to do that, and then I will see you in the next episode.